Deontay Wilder has lost 2 of his fights, and I would guess he probably witnessed his last fight last night. However, I really wanted to talk about the fact that Deontay Wilder is arguably America's biggest hype job. I say that respectfully, but at the same time, I also think that he overachieved. You know, this is someone who didn't really come into the boxing game as a kid. He came into the sport later in life as an adult, and he only did it to support his daughter. The fact that he entered the game and overachieved, becoming financially secure for life, is impressive. I would assume so anyway. I would just like to say that the PBC, Haymon, and his management did a great job overselling him. They picked the right fights and avoided the dangerous ones. At the same time, he knocked out boxers who were considered bumps. In his early fights, he faced opponents ranked 300 to 400 on the boxing ranking list. It's funny because the first time I ever came across Deontay Wilder was on a video clip on Facebook that went viral. Now, looking back on it, I think it was kind of marketed by his team. I remember watching that clip and thinking to myself, why am I just hearing about this guy now? Why has nobody been talking about him? Later on, I realized why, because he was fighting tomato cans and taxi drivers all his career. As soon as he stepped in with a half-hearted Tyson Fury in his first match, remember Tyson Fury was only 40% fit. He had been off for 3 years. He had been on drugs. He had been binging on alcohol. And he had gained so much weight. Tyson Fury had a few warm-up fights, but then he lost so much weight. Anyone who knows that when you go on a caloric deficit and lose weight, you also lose a lot of strength. The fact that he went against the heavyweight champion at that time, WBC champion Deontay Wilder, and that was his toughest fight. He couldn't beat a 40% fit Tyson Fury, which goes to show that when facing elite fighters, Wilder was no match for the top tier guys. It's quite funny how well he marketed himself against Anthony Joshua, and he even convinced many people that he could beat Joshua. It was amazing to me how he made it seem like Anthony Joshua was the one ducking him. Let's not forget, Wilder's fan base also worked hard to promote him as a superior fighter and pushed the narrative that Joshua was scared of Wilder. We all know that there was a fake $50 million offer in the beginning. AJ offered them $100 million, which they turned down to continue fighting Tyson Fury. Let's not forget that he only fought Tyson Fury because Fury picked him, knowing that Fury was only 40% fit and not bamboozled by the hype of Deontay Wilder. And this is another thing as well. Deontay Wilder, I would say America as a whole was yearning for a black African-American heavyweight champion because they had dominated for so long, especially in the 90s. Then the Vlad and Vitaly brothers came in and dominated, and it had been quite some time since they had an African-American heavyweight champion. I would even go on to say that it had been a long time since they had a white Anglo-Saxon heavyweight champion. But let's focus on Deontay for now. So they were yearning for an African-American champion in Wilder to dominate the division. They wanted him so badly. And that's why a lot of Americans, not all, but a few, hated on Anthony Joshua because Joshua wasn't American. If he were, he would have been so praised and loved by American pop culture. They overlooked the fact that Wilder was never really that good. I've been seeing comments saying that Wilder lost his spark. The Fury trilogy took a lot out of him. But really and truly, he never fought elite champions. he was never really tested because he never fought elite fighters before. The only test he got was Ortiz, and apparently Ortiz was 50 years old with high blood pressure. So I don't think it really and truly took a lot out of him. People say it might have knocked his confidence, but I just think he realized he wasn't that good. It brought him back to reality and made him realize that he's not really that good. I think Deontay believed his own hype when people were hyping him up for knocking out all these tomato cans. He started believing that he was really great and that he could beat someone like Anthony Joshua. I think the Parker and Tyson Fury fights, as well as his last fight with Zhang, just proved to him that he's not on that caliber of these fighters. And that's probably why he's going to retire right now. With that being said, I still think he did overachieve, and he could be proud of himself, to be honest with you, especially considering how he came into the game and why he came into the game. For someone who did not train from a young age, and even though he beat tomato cans, you have to give credit to his team for picking the right fights and marketing them so well. Let's be fair to Deontay. He made it look good, even though he was not technically good. This will be the last time we ever see Deontay. Unfortunately, we will never get to see the Anthony Joshua fight, but we all know Anthony Joshua would destroy Wilder. Also, making people believe that he would destroy Anthony Joshua, which is kind of laughable right now. I know for a fact the fanboys are going to say things like, oh, they waited for him to get old and age out, and now he's not the same as he was. Excuses. Excuses to me. You know, at the end of the day, if you're really that good, you can still fight until you're in your 40s, especially in this day and age. When people are really taking care of themselves, I reckon these people can fight into their mid-40s. I mean, George Foreman was like 45 years old when he became champion, right? Not only that, look at Alexander Usyk. He's 37 years old. He just beat Tyson Fury, who is 2 to 3 years younger than him. And then look at Zhang, who beat Wilder, and Zhang is 41 years old. Wilder is 38 years old. So I don't want to hear about the age, because I feel like the excuses are coming as well, but you're going to hear those narratives being played out. You know, anything about Wilder is he's always making excuses. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes out with now. Nonetheless, he had a good run, something he can be proud of. Even though he let the hype get to his head, he still overachieved.